Hello, everyone. I am Ryan Bone, and thank you all for joining me once again. I want to share with you guys something that's pretty sobering. I say that quite often because most of the stuff I talk about is sobering, right? But this is even more so because when I read you this article, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. It talks about, in this Breitbart News article, that the suicide rate in America is at an all-time high. Yes, the suicide rate is at an all-time high. In fact, it's worse than it has ever been. Now, that right there alone is really bad. Okay, that's really bad because you got to ask yourself a question: why is the suicide rate at an all-time high in America at this point in time? But needless to say, the left is going to take advantage of this situation and try to blame it on guns. Yes, you heard that right. They're going to blame it on guns. So let's get right into this article because I'm going to read a portion of this article and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on why I personally believe that the suicide rate is at an all-time high here in America. So let's get right into this article. But of course, the left they have to put their 2 cents in there. They have to blame it on they have to blame it on guns. Same thing, right? About 49,500 people took their own lives last year in the U.S., the highest number ever. 49,500. That's almost 50,000 people. U.S. suicides hit an all-time high last year by Mike Stopbeat, Medical Writers, the Association Press, New York. What that is. About 49,000 people took their own lives last year in the U.S., the highest number ever according to new government data posted Thursday. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which posted the numbers, has not yet calculated a suicide rate for the year, but available data suggests suicides are more common in the U.S. than at any time since the dawn of World War II. Wow. Wow. Now think about that. Think about that for a moment. We're going to get into this. There's something wrong. The numbers should not be going up, said Christina Wilbur, a 45-year-old Florida woman whose son shot himself to death last year. My son should not have died, she said. I know it's complicated. I really do. But we have to be able to do something that we're not doing. Because whatever we're doing right now is not helping. And I notice what she says, whatever we're not doing is not helping. In other words, when you hear people say we are not doing, they've been conditioned, I believe, by the collective Marxist media to think that everything is a collective situation. It's not an individual situation. It's all collective. Because the left does not look at individuality. It looks at the collective. There's no such thing as individuals to the left. Your own individual situation, your own individual improvement or lack of improvement is not your own individual situation. It's collective. Okay, but let's go on. Experts caution that suicide is complicated and that recent increases might be driven by a range of factors. Experts always have something to say, right? Including higher rates of depression. No kidding. But then you say higher rates of depression, but why are there higher rates of depression? And you could say, well, the reason why people are committing more suicide more now than they ever did before is because of high rates of depression. But what's causing people to be more depressed? Why is depression rising? I'm going to tell you the reason why, in my view. High rates of depression and limited availability of mental health services. Now they blaming it on the limited availability of mental health services. You just don't have any way of getting to these mental health services, and so as a result, you kill yourself. No, I don't think that's it. But a main driver is the growing availability of guns. See there? Woo, said Jill Friedman, Senior Vice President of Research at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Oh my God, they need to quit. When the government starts getting involved in stuff like this, there's some stinky stuff going on. Suicide attempts involving guns end in death far more than those with other means, and gun sales have boomed, placing firearms in more and more homes. Apparently, this is her words. This is her definition. A recent Johns Hopkins University analysis used preliminary 2022 data to calculate that the nation's overall gun suicide rate rose last year to an all-time high. For the first time, the gun suicide rate among black teens surpassed the rate among white teens, the researchers found. Let me say something quickly on this. To me, first of all, I'm just going to address this situation right now before I give you the overall reason why I believe suicide and depression is rising in America, okay? Guns are not the issue. I believe that the reason why more people kill themselves with guns because guns are readily available and it's quick. Most people that commit suicide with guns do so by shooting themselves in the head because it's quick and you basically almost die instantaneously. So it's quick. It's quicker than poisoning yourself or jumping off a bridge, you know what I'm saying, or stabbing yourself or whatever. It's quicker, okay, and more convenient. That's why more people, I believe, use guns to kill themselves. It's not the gun itself that's making people kill themselves. And come on, liberals, stop it. Stop it. Stop using excuses to take more and more guns away from people because you can't say the argument is stupid. Well, you know what? Basically what it is, reason why people commit more suicide and so forth is because of guns. You know, guns are there and the guns are somehow, so what you're basically saying is that the guns are somehow sending some kind of electromagnetic frequency waves into the minds of the people and making them want to pick up the gun and kill themselves. Is that what you're saying? No, the reason why people use guns is to kill themselves because they're readily available. It's quick and convenient. Just like a person that goes and does these mass shootings. They do mass shootings but it's because it's quick and convenient. It's quick, clean, and convenient. That's why they use guns, okay? It's just like a bomber. A bomber uses bombs because it's quick and convenient. You can get more people. You can take out more people. It's quick and convenient. You ain't got to put your hands on them. That's the reasoning for that. Unbelievable. The left, they make me sick. Says, I don't know if you can talk about suicide without talking about firearms. Freaking said. U.S. suicide steadily rose from the early 2000s until 2018 when the national rate hit its highest level since 1941. See, they don't want to address that. That year saw about 48,300 suicide deaths, or 14.2 for every 100,000 Americans. And that's a shame. The rate fell slightly in 2019. It dropped again in 2020 during the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some experts tied that to a phenomenon seen in the early stages of wars and natural disasters when people pull together and support each other. But in 2021, suicides rose 4% last year, according to the new data. Number jumped. According to the new data, the number jumped by more than 1,000 to 49,449, about a 3% increase versus the year before. The provisional data comes from U.S. death certificates and is considered almost complete, but it may change slightly as death information is reviewed in the months ahead. The largest increase we're seeing in older adults. Deaths rose nearly 7% in people ages 45 to 64 and more than 8% in people 65 and older. White men in particular have very high rates, the CDC said. All those kind of questions you got to ask. And is it guns? The whole argument about guns and talking about something, well, you know, you can't talk about suicide without guns is stupid. That argument is that the premise for that is stupid because you got older people here in their 60s taking their lives. Why is that? Guns is not even an issue the way I see it. That's not even a valid argument. It's anything they can do. Many middle-aged and elderly people experience problems like losing a job or losing a spouse, and it's important to reduce stigma and other obstacles to getting them assistance, said Dr. Deborah Horry, the CDC's chief medical officer. Of course, they got to, the doctors got to, make money. Suicides in adults ages 25 to 44 grew about 1%. The new data indicates that suicide became the second leading cause of death in that age group in 2022, up from number 4 in 2021. Despite the grim statistics, some say there is reason for optimism. Now, here's their reason. They say there's reason for optimism. A national crisis line launched a year ago, meaning anyone in the U.S. can dial 988 to reach mental health specialists. So, people who get paid to give you supposed advice and probably medication to medicate you, okay? The CDC is expanding a suicide program to fund more preventive work in different communities. And there's growing awareness of the issue and that it's okay to ask for help, health officials say. Yeah, it's okay to ask for help. It is. You should ask for help. Okay. There was a more than 8% drop in suicides in people's ages 10 10 to 24 in 2022. That may be due to increased attention to youth mental health issues and a push for schools and others to focus on the problem, CDC officials said. See, everything is geared towards. Let me just go on. I'm gonna give you this. But even the smaller numbers mass tragedies for families. There's an incident where a lady said her son committed suicide with a gun. But I'm not going to read all that. You guys can read the rest of the article on your own free time. I'm going to get right into this right off the bat because it's a lot of information. But yeah, you've heard that. You've heard that from the article. Okay. Now, this is tragic. This is very tragic, and I think that something should obviously be done about it. But let me give you my reasons why I believe personally that suicide has risen in America, supposedly, according to this article, at its highest rate. Number one, people are pushing God further and further and further away. Yes, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yes, I said it. People are pushing God further and further and further away. And I know that this is not what a lot of people want to hear, but when Christian principles were taught in the school, when God was an intricate part of TV programming and so forth, particularly in the 1950s, you didn't have this high level of suicide. There was suicide, but it wasn't as high as after the 1960s counterculture revolution. After the counterculture revolution that began in the 1960s, suicide rates went up. They talk about World War II, but after the 1960s, it went up even more significantly. Because when you push the real reason for your purpose, when you push God out of the equation, now you have to come up with an answer as to why we still have evil, as to why we still have death and destruction, as to why we still have all this debauchery going on. Now you have to come up with another answer, because getting rid of God is not going to stop people from doing evil things. Because who are doing evil things? God or people? People. So if you get rid of God and you take him out of the schools and you take him out of everything else, talking about some we our own answer with this humanistic concept of we our own answer, we haven't answered the question as to why human beings still do evil. We still got evil, and it's even worse. And now the suicide rate has risen. So I believe personally that the suicide rate has risen because more and more people are pushing God out of everything. Our country has become so debauched and so debased and so immoral, we don't know which end is which. People can't tell the difference between what is right and what is wrong. You got people supporting little kids, supporting adults, supporting little kids wanting to change their body into the opposite sex. I mean, literally adults who actually have embraced this. That shows you where our world is. That shows you where our country is in particular. So no wonder more and more people are committing suicide, because we push everything that is good and pure out the back door. We've embraced immorality. We've embraced death. We've embraced destruction. We've embraced negativity. So when you embrace all these nasty stuff, what good is going to come out of that? Another reason, too, that I personally believe that the suicide rate has rose in our country is because look around you. Look around you. Look at all the negativity. Look at the economy. Look at the economy. High prices and everything. Inflation on the rise. Death and destruction everywhere. These progressive Democrats causing trouble all over these cities, all over this country. Lawlessness is abounding. This is all these young people and people in general see. When they go to the news, all they see is negativity, death, and destruction. And I know you hear this stuff here on. I'm gonna come on. I mean, of course, you're gonna do things that people are gonna want to see. Unfortunately, but the point is, it goes beyond that, though, because I'm trying to inform here from an honest perspective. Okay, they see death and destruction all around them, immorality all around them. The movies, the TV. I mean, just recently, the other day, one of my bosses told me that the new Ninja Turtles movies, which I didn't know anything about, that's coming out, have been out already. I didn't know anything about it because I don't even go to the movies anymore. I told them I don't go to the movies. They stink. But he told me that he said one of the characters now they made him gay. No reason whatsoever to make the character gay. Stop it. Stop it. I said, man, there's a reason for that. I said, this is an agenda. This is an agenda. I said, there's a reason for that. So you got all this kind of foolishness and debauchery and stupidity and ignorance going on, and people are being bombarded by this stuff, so they feel like there is no hope. I'm going to give you my answer. The answer is bring God back. Bring him back into the schools. Bring him back into our movies. Bring him back into politics, because when we got rid of him, when we got rid of morality, all of this other stuff just increased. Okay? Bringing God into everything is not going to hurt people. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in God. What difference does it make? You don't believe in him. How is me teaching you about the Bible going to hurt you? How is it going to hurt you psychologically? How? Explain it. Oh my God, it's just oppressive. You guys are teaching God. You're teaching about Jesus. You're teaching about love, that he died for our sins. Oh my God. Oh, that's so terrible. I want to kill myself. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? No. There's the elite wants to get rid of God and the Bible because that worldview is different than the worldview they want to create. They want to create a utopia without God. And you want to be a part of that. You want to be one of the bricks in their new world order. That's what that's all about. Okay? They don't care. The elites don't care anything about you. Let me end the video on this. Look, if you read that article, everything is geared, as I said earlier in the article, everything is geared around we need to do this. We need to do that. We. Yeah, what we need to do is bring God back into everything. What we need to do, not preaching, but that's okay. What we need to do is bring morality back in everything. Okay, somebody said, well, we don't want to because that's religious separation of church and say, woo. Okay, well, we need to bring morality back into everything. We need to bring the belief of right and wrong back into everything. That's a universal principle. We took that out. Now it's all moral relativism. What's right for you is right for you, and what's wrong for this person, what's right for you might not be right for anybody else. Man, cut it out. Certain things are right, certain things are wrong, and that's just the way it is. But we've left that in the back burner. And look at where we are now. What do you expect? What do you expect, man? Come on. Not talking to any of you guys, but I'm just saying, what do you expect? This is the reason why I personally believe the suicide rate has gone up. When we start bringing these principles back, then things are going to straighten up. But until then, it's going to get worse and worse. It may dip and dive every now and then, but it's going to get worse and worse. And let me end the video on this. No, lefties, the problem isn't guns. No, lefties, stop trying to find justification to take guns away from law-abiding citizens, because crooks and killers and madmen and madwomen will not give up their guns. Who are you penalizing for this? It ain't the criminals. It ain't the crazy people. It's us law-abiding citizens. It's us sane people. Stop it. Just stop it. Can't nobody be that dumb. Come on, man. I know I'm going on, but I get so sick and tired of these liberals talking this stupid stuff. Your argument stinks, okay? That's what I got to say about that. But what do you guys think about the suicide rate situation? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.